Today is payday, so let's budget my bi-weekly paycheck using the cashless budgeting method. Let's get right into it. So I have my budget workbook, of course, right in front of me, and I'm gonna just walk you down through the process that I do when I'm actually paid and just give you my routine and stuff like that. So the very first thing I do is I come to my monthly calendar. On this calendar are all of my bills that have a due date and that has an amount on it that I know have to be taken care of with what paycheck. The colors represent each pay period, and those are the bills that has to be taken care of with that particular paycheck. Now, I just got paid on the 10th of October, so everything highlighted in purple is what's supposed to be taken care of with this paycheck, and my bills are set up on automated draft, so these bills actually just come out of my account once money goes into that account and the date is actually, on the due date. Now, on my paycheck budget worksheet, this is where I plan out my paycheck, because not only do I just pay bills, I also have food, I also have gas, I also have like fun things that I'm doing and things like that. I like to plan that out as well if it fits into the budget. So I'm going to be walking you through how I actually break down every single thing and how I plan for fun, how I just take care of all of the bills, save money, and still be able to enjoy my life. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So the very first thing that I do is I budget out the money, because we can't do nothing without no money on. So the very first thing I do is I budget my paychecks at the lowest amount that my paycheck has ever been, and that's $1,900. Now, I have just recently received a pay increase, and then I've also received a contractual raise as well. So I budget my paycheck at $1,900. That's the lowest amount that I've ever been paid. And my paycheck was actually $2,174.37. I think after this month, I'm just going to go back up to my $2,000 budget for my paychecks, because it seemed meant to be around a little over the $2,000 mark. So I'm going to finish out the month of October with budgeting at the lowest amount of $1,900, and come November, I'm pretty much probably just going to go over to budgeting my lowest paycheck at $2,000. So then I just go ahead and list out all of the bills and expenses that's going to be taken care of with this paycheck. So first of all, we have retirement, and that's set up on automated draft. That's $113.56. We also have investing. I'm investing 5% of my paycheck, so that is $168.68. Also putting money into my Roth IRA. I have dedicated at least $50 every single time that I'm paid into a Roth IRA. So that's what I'm doing as well, putting that on the budget. And then aftercare. So my son's aftercare fees have to be paid every single Friday. That is $120, but they charge you $1 just to make the payment. So $121 for that. Then on the 12th, we have Google storage that's supposed to come out. That's $1.99. I have short-term disability coming up on the 13th. That's $82.44. Then I have the Merit credit card that just charged me a monthly fee. I don't have any credit card payments. Y'all know I have paid off all of my credit cards along with my collection account. But for this Merit credit card, they're still charging me a monthly fee of $4. Then we are back around to the next Friday. My son aftercare fees is actually due all over again, and that's $121. Then we have my phone bill due on the 20th of the month, and that's $175 that I am actually budgeting for. Now, what I do is I just total up all of my bills just to see how much all of the bills are coming up to, and then how much money do I have remaining for food, gas, fun, and all of the other stuff that I want to do. So when I total up all of my bills come up to $837.67. Then I take my income and I subtract all of my expenses and to see how much money do I have left. So I'm left with $1,336.64. Now for me personally, because that is like a big chunk of money, instead of me going ahead and doing the food and the gas, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and already set half of the mortgage and utilities to the side of $875. So that way when the next paycheck comes around, I won't have to take out that big large number from that particular paycheck. I could just focus on half of the amount, because I'm going to be putting half of the amount right now from this paycheck. So $875 for half of the mortgage and utilities for next month. And then I'm going to go ahead and take out $200 for gas this pay period, and then $120 for gas. And the reason why is because I have upped my grade in gas because something is going on with this red car of mine too. Y'all know the silver car is broke down right now, and now the red car is starting to act up. My dude told me to put plus gas, because he said I'd be using cheap gas, which I do use the regular gas. So he told me to up the gas, so now I'm putting plus in the gas tank, and it's costing me a little over $30. So $30 a week. Sometimes I have to fill up the gas tank 2 times a week, so I'm just gonna say $60 a week for gas. I know that I have to do it per week or whatever, so 2 times per week, $30. That's $60 a week. The next time that's $120. Basically 60 times 60 is $120. So that totals up to $1,195. So $1,195 for the half of the mortgage and utilities, food, and gas. So when I subtract the $1,336.64 from the $1,195, I am left with $141.64. And if you see me looking down, it's because this is all written out on my paycheck budget worksheet right here. So I'm left with $141.64, which that money, because I don't have anything else going on, I don't have any other bills that's going to be due, I'm already saving money, I'm already putting half of the mortgage and stuff like that to the side. I'm going to be using that money to put into my savings, or I'm going to be either giving myself some of that money. So I don't know if I'm probably just going to like split it in half and give myself half of the money to like just do my fun spending, or am I going to just put a certain amount into my savings and then a certain amount I'm going to give to myself. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it. So right now, currently, I'm just going to say that money is just going to go to me, and however I decide to distribute it, that's how it's going to go. Since I don't have any debt to actually pay right now, I am focusing on rebuilding my savings, but I've been doing that with the money that I make from content creation. So I think that I am going to use this money just for myself, just give myself some fun money, because I know my friends have some things, planned that they want to do. It's my birthday month as well, so I want to do some things as well. But with all of this, I love the way that I am breaking it down this way, because I know that at the beginning, when I'm first paid, the important stuff is taken care of, and then the variable spending is that's where I start the variable spending. So how I plan to do this as a cashless budgeting system, because it's one thing to just write this down, but it's another thing to go out here in the real world and do it for real. So what I plan on doing is having my checking account, and I was doing this before, but I got away from it because I got tired of just trying to track this checking account, and all these different checking accounts, but that worked for me. So what I'm going to go back to is basically I'm going to have all of my bills that set up on automatic draft actually coming out of one account, and then my variable expenses, that's going to be coming out of a different account as well. So that way I know that the remaining money that is left in that account is for me. I don't have to worry if I'm going over the budget. I don't have to worry if I'm, spending too much money and things like that. So if I separate my bills from my expenses from my fun spending, I know that in this fun spending, this is the amount of money that I actually have left. And like I said before, I used to do that. I used to put $250 into my savings automatically every single time that I was paid, and then I had my bills money in a bill account, and then I had my spending money, such as my fund spending, into sinking funds. And I would just, whenever I spent money, I just would roll that money over into a different checking account, and I would actually spend from there. But while the money is actually sitting in there, it's sitting inside of a savings account. So that's what I think I am going to do, because I want to make sure that I am, because this 75 hard personal finance challenge is definitely in it, and I want to make sure that I'm sticking within my budget of what I'm actually giving myself and not going over all of the time, especially on food and gas, because that's where I'm tending to do the overspending. But that's how I budget my bi-weekly paycheck using the cashless budgeting method. That's all for this video. I will see you in the next one. Bye.